Hello, and welcome to the Creative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Isolde Trachtenberg, and I am super happy that you're here. Wow, so you're catching me at prime moving time. I am in the last few days before my husband and I pack up all our gear and move to New York City. I'm super excited about it, but I'm learning lessons about it that I want to pass on. Yesterday, I had a freak out moment. And that was that there's no way with 4 days left that I am going to actually be able to make everything happen the way it needs to happen before we have to move on Monday. So I was freaking out. That's all there is. And if you're listening to this on Monday, June 3rd, I am in the process of moving because this is when this episode's going to go up. But I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and started freaking out and walked out of the bedroom and realized that I was facing a mountain of chaos. And what's interesting about that moment is that it paralyzes you, right? When you feel that overwhelm, you're paralyzed. For at least a little while, you're not doing anything. You're sitting there or standing there with your mouth open and your limbs frozen, and you're wondering how you're ever going to make anything happen. And here's my cure for that. I have 2 cures for that. 1, here's the question to ask yourself. No, I'm going to give the other one first. The other one is, do something. Anything. If you see a bunch of pieces of paper on the floor because things have fallen apart, pick up one of the pieces of paper and put it into the recycling bin. Or if there's dishes all over the place, pick up one dish and put it into the dishwasher or put it into the sink. Get into motion. The second you are in motion, you'll keep going. And here's why. It's because physics works. A body at rest tends to stay at rest, and a body in motion tends to stay in motion. That's how things work, right? It's laws of thermodynamics. So if you are at rest, if you are paralyzed, if you are not moving, that's how you'll stay. But if you take the time and you take a stand and move, just pick something up, put something away, take an action, say something, do, then things will shift, and immediately your brain will see a little bit less stuff that it needs to deal with because you've dealt with something. And just knowing that little thing has been done will help your subconscious go, well, if that can be done, then this next thing can be done. And if that can be done, then this thing can be done. And before you know it, without too much fuss, you're going to be moving and grooving, and you're going to be fixing the things you need to fix and doing the things you need to do. So that's number 1. The second thing that I do for myself when I feel that paralysis is I ask myself a very simple question. If I were someone who knew what to do here, what would I do? Or if I knew what to say here, what would I say? When I'm looking at a blank computer screen, when I'm writing one of my books, or when I was writing papers in college, for example, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd face the blank screen, and writing the first sentence was awful, right? But if I asked myself that question, if I were someone who knew what to say here, or if I were someone who knew what to do here, what would that be? I was able to come up with the answer. And the reason I was able to come up with the answer is actually quite simple. We can see things more clearly for other people than we can for ourselves. We will help other people out more than we will help ourselves. And we will do for other people. We will come up with creative solutions for other people. We'll figure things out for other people much better and much faster than we can for ourselves. I think this is an entire episode all on its own, but it's really something to think about. When you have to help a friend, you'll help that friend. You'll figure it out. You'll be the person who's their champion, but you won't be your champion for yourself. Often we think of ourselves last. So instead, think about it in those terms. Put yourself separated, one person removed, right? If I were someone who knew how to help, what would I do? Ask yourself that question, and believe it or not, an answer will bubble up. And then you can start moving and grooving on that. So those are the 2 things that I do when I feel that paralysis of, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. When I get to that place, I either start with something tiny and make it happen, or I ask myself those questions. I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode, and I will be back tomorrow with more thoughts about moving and grooving and getting things done. Yeah, it's about getting your stuff done, right? So that's what I'm trying to do with all of this. In fact, I'm starting a mastermind in the next couple of weeks with people who want to get their stuff done. That's really what it's all about. If you have stuff, if you have things you want to get done, getting your stuff done is super important. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode, and if you have, please rate and review it. Please spread the word about it, and let me know that you know something about this. If you have questions or comments, please get in touch about those too. Until next time, this is Isolde Trachtenberg sending you all of my love.